Hey folks, how you doing? Hopefully this will wind up on the Breakfast Club on Saturday. I know Got That Funk said that slot was open, and I wanted to address some of the things where he was addressing the Gillette commercial that people are having an issue with. I had an issue with, okay? And I put up a video on my channel about that ad where I called it a psyops. By all means, if you didn't see the video, please go check it out. But my point being, what I wanted to address is I was watching Got That Funk, and you might be able to see him over my shoulder here. I'm just letting his video run because, as I'm watching him do this, and I'm looking at, and I know he's a good guy. But I can't help but feeling maybe he's just intentionally missing the point a little bit about what people are having an issue of. I know I can't speak for everyone. I know there are people out there who are having full out spaz down whatevers about this thing. And you know what? That just sort of happens with everything. Facebook changes a feature, somebody has a spaz. Right. But the issue here is, he's pointing out there, and I see a lot of other people pointing out, and I find this very dismissive. Well, the ad's just telling people to not be bullies, to not be jerks, to not, harass women. And who would be against that? Or various variations. I know he said something like that. I've seen Jenny McDermott say stuff. I've seen lots of people on Twitter. That's a very dismissive attitude, in my opinion. It's like you're hearing people have their objections and ignoring their objections. Because the base message, you don't be a bully, don't be a jerk, treat women with respect. Yeah, you're right. I don't disagree with that. The problem that I had is it coming out with toxic masculinity, saying masculinity is all bad. It's along the lines of men are all bad. But it's more than that, But generally, it was that general statement. It just not really just blah, blah, blah about it. It was that general statement. It's the blanket statement that being a man is bad, is what a lot of people are taking out from it. And if you're trying to get people to be better, it's probably not a good idea to say all of you are absolute shit. Begin with, now you got to be better. It's demeaning and it's insulting. And I didn't notice this at first, but if you do notice this, you go back and you watch that Gillette ad. It's also a little bit racist. Because not only is it blanket saying that men are all bad, also if you notice, all the men it shows that are behaving badly are all white men. And all the men that are shown stopping these white men who are behaving badly are all black men. So basically the blanket statement is white men are all fucking rapists, jerk, bully, disrespectful for women, assholes. And that's what a lot of people are seeing, and they're looking at that. And the message is getting lost in the delivery, is the issue, And it's a blanket statement. If you were to make a blanket statement about all women, toxic femininity, there would be riots in the streets. Or if you do it about all black people is this the best we can be? People would have a shit fit. But men, particularly white men, nobody cares. Fuck them. They're all shit anyways, right? No. There are better ways to address this issue. I know Australian News, who is a good guy. We agree on a lot of things. We disagree on some things, particularly firearms. But he's a good guy, right? He showed up a video that showed what Australia is doing. Australia has a series of commercials that basically hit all the points that the Gillette ad is trying to make, but it does it without shitting on an entire gender. I find those, I watch those ads, those are acceptable ads. If you want men to behave better, to not do what people classify as toxic masculinity, although in my personal opinion, masculinity is not toxic. But if you want them to be better, what Australia is doing is great. I'll try to leave a link to his video. By all means, watch it. That is what they should have done. They address the issue of men being jerks and disrespectful to their wives. They address the issue of bullying, of all this stupid toxic masculinity shit that people are trying to address without shitting on the gender. It just shows a man behaving like a jerk in ways that we know that men can behave like jerks, those men that are jerks. And it shows other men going, hey man, that ain't cool, stepping up. And it does show them dealing with the internal conflict that somebody can have in wanting to step up against somebody who is being a jerk of that caliber. But then again, not wanting to step up against a man who's being a jerk of that caliber isn't toxic masculinity. It's social conditioning. It's people having an anxiety about creating waves in their social circle. Not toxic masculinity. It's all humanity. Women do it, men do it, mixed groups do it. Group dynamic is a very important part of our psychology as we evolved up into apes, into tribes of apes, tribes of people. We want to fit in within our tribe because, on an evolutionary scale, those that didn't fit in had a really hard time. But it's just, so there's ways to do it. That's what the thing is, It basically, Gillette shit on its customer base. It shit on all men, saying, no, this is the best you can get. The best you can get is being a jerk. No, you can be better. To all men, no. Now, and that's what offended people. Now, fortunately, I wear a beard. I've worn a beard for well over 10 years, and I'm likely to continue to wear a beard probably until I die. So it's not that big of an issue for me that it's Gillette. It was just insulting. I mean, without getting too much into the evolution of it, you just have to point out that sexual dimorphism exists for a reason. The differences between male and females, it exists for a reason. And that sexual dimorphism influenced our behavior. By necessity. It just influenced our behavior. And as our behavior evolved with our society, our behavior influenced our culture. It's not toxic masculinity, it's just masculinity. And it's not toxic, it's our culture. And keep in mind, what people are calling toxic masculinity for most of human evolution was just masculinity. Wasn't a problem until, a couple of years ago, and people started talking about it. I'm not going to go into my political theories about it, because I certainly have those, and they are strongly held. But no, I just want to address that particular issue, man. Toxic masculinity is not a thing. Just because you don't show your emotions doesn't mean you don't feel your emotions. And showing your emotions is frequently, it's not all that useful sometimes. The aggression you see young kids doing, or the commercial, breaking up the kids who are fighting, You know what? That is just naturally how we evolved over millennia. That's what we are inside. If you leave boys to their own devices and you do absolutely nothing, they're going to roughhouse. They're going to knock each other around. They're going to do that because as a species, that's who we are. We are much more akin to chimpanzees than we are bonobos. Okay, that's what we do. But you get kids like that, and you start breaking them up, and you start not letting them fight and roughhouse like they do. You're going to wind up people who are just basically raised to be perfect victims, right? Because if somebody comes by to do you dirty, they're criminals, and they weren't raised to toxic whatever, all right? You walk up and you blast that fucker in the face. He's never been hit before. He doesn't know how to react. It's going to rock his world. My God, I'm being violently assaulted. And he won't be able to defend himself. Because if you've never taken a blast to the face, man, it blows your mind. But it's through the roughhousing as young boys, you get a blast to the face. You learn how to fight through. You learn how to deal with the pain and actually accomplish what you need to accomplish. As an adult, shit comes at you, you know how to handle it. You've taken a punch, you've thrown a punch, you know not to put your thumb in there. Some people learn that one the hard way. Funny as shit to watch. Fortunately, I wasn't the one, but But this is the shit, right? This movement is going to do damage. And I'm trying to stay away from the political side of it, man. But masculinity is not toxic. People having a problem with it is what is toxic. Anyways, but that's what people are upset with. Not because, they told me I can't be a jerk. I'm unhappy. One more thing. Before I lay off, I really like Kazoom's take on the whole thing. I think he's absolutely freaking correct. They put up this whole toxic masculinity thing and whatnot, and they want men to share their feelings and to be more open. But when men start sharing their feelings and being more open on this subject, they get slapped down. Oh, you pussy little snowflake, nah, 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 reinforcing the toxic masculinity stereotype is trying to get away with. They are actually doing nothing to stop the culture that they're actually saying is bad. They're reinforcing it. Because when you share the fact that your feelings were hurt over this ad, well, you're just a pussy little snowflake. Ha! Well, I guess I shouldn't share my feelings then. Huh. Anyways, that was in my head. I just dropped the kid off the bus. I got other shit going. And I wanted to get this out because you, sir, got that funk. You need videos, man. And I had something to address. Anyways, for those of you stuck around, thank you for your time.